Hello and welcome back. I am sitting here with NoFuturistic. He is my teacher of NFTs, and I'm very excited to get an interview with him about all of his NFT experiences. He got into the scene in May, and he's seen Bored Ape Yacht Club when it was, what price did it start at?
It started at 8% of an ETH.
8% of an ETH, and now the floor is 37 ETH. So I would love to hear his experience, and here he is, NoFuturistic. Welcome to the show.
Okay, just to be clear, technically I got in at 44% of an ETH. This is when ETH was at 2,800 before it pumped up to almost 4,300 and then crashed. So I bought in at 44%, like maybe.
That's 0.44.
Yeah, 44% of one ETH,
Yeah.
just to be clear. I bought in like a couple weeks into May, so it had launched in April. So a little bit right after. And it was interesting. I sold very fucking early, which hurt, but like in July. So I bought in and then I watched the market correct really hard. And the Bored Ape Yacht Club dropped to like 12%. And it was my first NFT that I bought. And I was like, yeah, I'm going to ride the wave because it's like, I was diversifying my portfolio by buying this thing. And then it pumped up to like 7 or 8 ETH and then dropped. And I like regretted it. And then when it hit 7 ETH, I sold off and then reinvested in all these projects. And then it continued to 60 ETH. And I sat here feeling like an idiot with my thumb in my butt. But I was able, the other bets I was able to pick using liquidity were able to like gain value.
And what I learned from you is that NFTs are basically like a tradable space. Like when I first found out about NFTs, I was like, oh, I'm an artist. I could put up some photos. Nobody really bought them. So I was like, this isn't working. But I saw other artists sell their stuff for like the guy who sold for 69 million.
That's
and
people.
Beeple. And I never considered that it could be a place where you trade pictures, like the stock market kind of.
Yeah, it's the liquidity is less. So like this market I love because it is almost like on crack. Like in the since May, I've watched bear markets that are like a week or two, maybe a month at long, like at the beginning of the summer, and then like these cycles are speeding up almost. So it's like a very like I always compare it to Elliott wave theory, like in terms of trading 5 wave cycles, but much faster.
What's Elliott wave?
It's the idea that a market goes through 5 waves, and those waves are alternating almost like bear, like pump bear.
Oh,
pump,
bear bull, bear
bull. Well, it's like bull bear, and then that last pump is like the bubble inflation where you might look at head and shoulders formations and stuff like that, and then the inevitable drop back down. Depending on what you're looking at, like Fibonacci, all that crazy stupid shit. But the idea that it's moving in a 5 wave pattern.
And where do you think that pump is originating from? Do you think it's like big whales manipulating the market, or you think it's like Discord groups, or like what makes a project go to the moon, in your opinion?
Well, I think overall, there's all those things play a factor, but I think the biggest factor is that the market cap in this space is so small compared to other spaces. If you're looking at crypto, we're talking trillions of dollars. The stock market is like tens of trillions of dollars. Gold is like 19 trillion dollars. This is still like up until recently millions of dollars. And now we're getting, like in August, we had like $3 billion of volume on OpenSea. So it's growing, but it's still very small. So like one of my favorite projects is Avagachi. Their coin, the market cap is only like $50 million. So top cryptos like Bitcoin, it's like $1 or $2 trillion at its height. I think Ethereum's like 300 million for their market cap. So 300 billion for their market cap. So 50 million market cap. I can see that 100xing, and it's still not even top 20 in terms of like market cap for cryptos.
And like, so you got into Bored Ape Yacht Club in May, right? May of 2021.
Yes.
And
Early May, before the market crashed. Like I thought we were approaching a top. I cashed out, and I was like, let's reinvest in some other weird stuff.
This is like the first kind of blue chip project, right? That we can consider.
CryptoPunks, like
CryptoPunks, then Bored Ape Yacht Club.
I wouldn't say even that, because there are projects that happened in 2017 that are generative on-chain stuff. Like people talk about Mooncat Rescue. It's not there. It's not at the prices that Bored Ape Yacht Club is at, but they're going to be doing eventually a Christie's auction. So the prices are going to move.
Mooncat Rescue?
I believe it's Mooncat Rescue, yes.
Let's check it out. Mooncat.
Or just type in Mooncats and you'll see it, because there's different like Mooncats.
Let's see what comes up. Mooncat Rescue just has one, but I know I've seen
Go to Mooncat, yeah. Do it over here. No, you can't do it there. No. Official, nope.
Maybe it's Mooncats. Why is it so slow? Wrapped Mooncat Rescue official. This one has 2,000. This one has 17,000 items.
So it's probably the 17. Yeah, acclimated Mooncats. So you see the floor right now is like
have
75.
added, because is this the project that
The thing is,
Logan Paul got into?
There's different. I'm not sure if that. I know he's gotten into other projects.
He got into Mooncats, I remember.
The idea is that there's like different like there's a Genesis Mooncats, the original, and then there were additional Mooncats released over time. But you can see this has like 11.3 thousand Ethereum of volume over its lifetime.
But they've definitely added to this floor.
Yeah, so I can see this. This
ETH.
is like, these are just the acclimated. This isn't the Genesis stuff. Like the originals, it's like CyberKongs. There's different levels of it. Where like I think the Genesis CyberKongs are worth like 70, 80 ETH, something crazy.
I think I've seen them on the top percent gainer list for volume. Mooncats.
What I would say though is it's important to understand that there is a difference between NFT projects versus PFP projects. Like,
yeah, what's the difference?
so like an NFT project like the Mooncats. There's also one called Crypto Bots. There's one called
this is
Crypto
definitely the
Crystals. These are all 2017 projects. But people don't use these as their avatars on social media. Where like the Bored Ape Yacht Club is an avatar, the Cool Cat's an avatar. People are using their Supduck. They're using Robotos. Although I don't really see a lot of that.
You got into Supducks. Tell us about that one.
I blew that. That was
Supducks.
Supducks.
When did this one come out? How did you play it?
I don't remember the exact time it came out because I'm a stoner. But I minted 3 eggs, right? So their mint was their reveal was delayed. So I held the 3 eggs. I believe their reveal was delayed. It was like over the course of a day or something like that. I forgot what I paid. It was like maybe 3 or 5% of an ETH. And then the unrevealed eggs, I was able to sell them for up to half a ETH. So I sold them, and then the reveal happened. A lot of projects this happens where like if there's a delayed reveal, the reveal happens, the floor dumps because whales, I believe whales who can buy large amounts, they only need to get 1 or 2 super rare things to basically moon. And then they can sell all the rest of the crap for very cheap and still make, like I've read somewhere.
And now look at the difference between like there's only 3K holders of a 10K project and the floor is 3.9. But like these other projects, like I don't know, let's look at unicorns for example, right? These ones have just come out. They pretty much have the same floor, but they're not at that 3 point ETH.
Well,
so
the floor is way different because this is over almost 4 ETH.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like they don't have so many holders, but they have such a high floor.
Well, it's
so that means a lot of people are holding, right? Or what?
That's what 100%. So like you're like on average, it's 3 Supducks per
person.
If like
they're holding
I bought in and sold off a couple times, and every time I did, it was always 2 or 3.
Mm-hmm.
So there are people who are like probably whales.
This is another point that you have talked about is like when you buy a project, you like to buy a couple of them, like at least 3 pieces, so that if it goes high, you sell one off and then you make your money back. Right?
I learned that from the Bored Ape Yacht Club because I only had one,
right.
And I bought it for $1,300 of ETH, and I sold it for 13,000 within 2 months. So that's a big 10x, right? And then it went another 10x from there. So it's like crap. I should have held on to the second one. So like with Cool Cats, I have 2 Cool Cats.
Yeah, let's look at Cool Cats.
Right now, it's at like a 10.4.
When did you get Cool Cats and for how much?
Well, I started.
Wait, let me get to it. Cool Cats.
If you know any of this NFT summer, at the beginning of the summer, we had the My Fucking Pickle Pump, where it went from 2% of an ETH up to like 22, 23%. So I bought pickles. I actually live streamed the reveal. And then after that, Cole Ethereum did a pickle talk, the one and only one. I live streamed it. It's on my YouTube, Music City Gotcha Gang on YouTube. He interviewed the Cool Cats team. And
I'll have your YouTube in the description.
Yeah, so the Cool Cats team talked about how their mint price was, I believe, originally 5% of an ETH. It might have been 7 or 8, I forget. But basically, he convinced them to knock it down to 2% of an ETH. So they hadn't sold out at that point. People were like, once after that talk though, where like the pickle community kind of learned about the Cool Cats, they started like to move quick. So I bought like 2 of them at like 10% of an ETH, and then they went up to like 30 or 40%. I sold them. Then they went all the way to fuck up to 80%. And then when they dropped back down, I realized I made my mistake. And at that point, I sold the Bored Ape Yacht Club member. That was like a week later. I had 7 ETH of liquidity, so I bought 2 or 3 Cool Cats. and then invest in all these other projects. Sewer Rat Social Club. There was like Panda Golf Squad, which is a rug. I had some bulls on the block. There was a ton of stuff in the
And
summer.
another project that you're a big believer of is the dope Shibas because they look like the cool cats, right?
Yeah, but that's 100% speculation. I'll say that.
Mm-hmm.
I saw these. I minted like 4 or 5 of them when they were whatever their price was, 3 or 4% of a ETH, and then they went up to 26%. So I sold all of them except one because that's my goal. Like now, after the Bored Ape Yacht Club, back to your original question, it's like I always try to hold more than one so that I can sell at a profit to cover both, and then I can just hold the other. And even if it goes to zero, I'm still up. So with the dope Shibas, at this point, I own 80 of them because I was able to sell like
I have
six or
7 because you've told me about them.
yeah, because they're cheap. They're a
Because when
cute
I first
project.
started, I didn't know what to do, so I was like,
See, their development team, I've really not looked into their development team. I saw there was a lot of energy behind this project when I watched that pump. And I've watched a lot of projects initially pump. Like Sewer Rats are a good example. They came out, they dropped to less than 1% of a ETH, and then they bounced all the way up as high as 14%. Like if you were smart and you bought at that bottom, you made 14 times your money. So with this, like I wrote it up. I had 6 or 7 of them. I sold them at like 20 to 26% of a ETH, so like 1 to 2 ETH worth of value, and then I just spent all of that buying it as it's fallen. Like a lot of my dope Shibas are at 2% or less, so I owned like 80 of them.
and I also want to talk about World of Women. I remember when you first introduced me to the NFT space, I remember seeing World of Women and it was like zero point 0.7 of an ETH. Like it was like maybe a few $100s, but I couldn't afford one at the time. But I knew that there was like something interesting about the project because there's not a lot of women in the space. So what are your thoughts are like on like these women projects? Like there was something that you said interesting about
Fame Lady Squad.
So tell us
Yeah.
about that.
So I got into the Fame Lady Squad. I minted like 3 of them at the beginning. They pumped. I sold a couple. I have one Fame Lady that I still hold. She's my raver girl. She has a like a Molly tab of a heart on her tongue, and she's so hot. But I've traded these and I held on to one, and then it turned out that there was like some FUD that hit the project. There was initial FUD because apparently the metadata was like accessible, so people could know which number tokens were the rare ones, and if you like minted in the right moments, you can take advantage of that, which is unfair, which is a lot of this shit because it's not on chain. But then it came out that the team was really Russian dudes. It was told that it was originally women. So this project went from like 10% of a ETH down to like less than 1%. I bought like 4 or 5 of them, and then the team was willing to transfer it to a very prominent NFT Twitter community member, Board Becky, and now she's running. Or not, I don't want to say she's running it, but I'm sure she's working with a team. I haven't followed up, but like the price has recovered. What is it at? Like 13%?
13, yeah.
Yeah, so it went from 1 back up to 10 pretty quickly, like within a day. So like it's like the weird whales, like where this whole space, man.
And
like
tell
on
us
crack.
about Robotos too, because we were both in Robotos when the were you in it before the Winklevoss twins
Yeah.
bought into it? Because I purchased one at 0.19 when I noticed that the
So-
Winklevoss
the
twins.
Winklevie.
I always want to say Winklevoss. It's a tongue twister anyway.
Yeah, it's Rip Van Winklevoss because he's sleeping on the NFTs. So with the Robotos, this is a PFP that I like the visual of.
By PFP, you mean like profile picture type of thing, right?
Yeah,
Where
like
people want to use it
it's
as a profile
it could be
picture.
an avatar. This might one day. I don't know enough about the project. Like, there's a point where I move on speculation. I'm on Twitter all day, and when I see a lot of engagement about a project, I'll jump in because that means this is still, like I said, it's a small market. There's 10,000 of these things. If there are a million wallets in the space, which there aren't, I think at top end it might be a couple 100,000 when it's super busy. That means that there's limited supply. That's a big deal. So I saw these on Twitter. A lot of people that I know were talking about them. So I was able to get them cheap, like 10 or 11%. I watched them go up to 30% and then come all the way back down. And then on the most recent pump, I sold at 25, 30, 40%. I had like 8 of them that I accumulated. So I was able to quadruple my money in a lot of cases. But now they've gone up another 10-fold or like 3 or 4-fold from where I sold. Same thing with Dead Fellas. I had them at like 0.1. Fang Gang, I had them at 7% of a ETH. But I do this for a living. This is how I pay my rent at this point. So if I double or triple my money, I take profits because I've been in crypto for a little while, and I've had situations where I've tripled my money, and within a month now I'm down 40 or 50%. It's like you have to. This is speculative. There's like projects like I own
I
two cool
called
cats.
that this would go up when it was zero point 0.4 and now
Yeah.
it's at
But look at this.
1.64.
Like, I don't know anything about this project other than
Neither
that
do
there's
I.
a lot of people that are into it on Twitter.
It
But
was at the top percent gainers list for
yeah,
a while
I don't
though.
really pay attention to that. But
I
like,
do.
I look at the aesthetic of this, right? This has a vibe to it. It's like cool little art. It's the same thing as the
It
Dope
looks
Shibas.
a lot like Bad Bunnies now that I look at it.
Yeah, or Bad Bunnies looks like this.
Right.
Also, remember in the space, I've worked with teams. There are a lot of teams that release multiple projects because if you have the artists, it's like, not that I don't want to take away anything from it, it's not that it's not hard, but if you have the pieces in place, you can just crank out projects. So a lot of these teams, because they're anonymous, there's the high potential that it's the same teams pumping out projects. I have a couple of these. I just sold one of them. Yeah, they're
And
kind of
last
cool.
night, I've been looking at these. I've been looking at Twitter and seeing women-run projects, or not women-run, but more like, how would you characterize this? Like women projects, like World of Women, Crypto Chicks,
Some
Boss
of these
Beauties.
apparently have women teams.
Yeah,
Yeah.
which makes it even more, good for a space that's not like diversified, and that's in that department. But so I was in this, but then I couldn't afford Boss Beauties. We were looking at it together, and I told you to get one of these at 0.17
I
because
bought
was,
two
yeah,
instead.
I was noticing them on Twitter and noticing just kind of the hype around
I
them.
was also being a jerk because she couldn't afford it, so I was like, "Yeah, I'm buying two."
So
But I
now it's
flipped
at
one
point
today.
so
Yeah,
that's doubling your money pretty much
yeah.
overnight.
So
So
that's what I did. I flipped one to cover my initial investment. I had a little bit of profit, and the second one is now on the side, and that's gonna be, I'll hold that. If it pumps up, great. If it doesn't, then no, nothing lost.
and what are your thoughts on projects with utility? Like, what are some of them that you like? Are in, like, let's say sewer rats, right? They give chiz. Like, what's another one?
Well, like now, subducts they give Volt. So
Vault.
we talk about this because I'm a former tax accountant, and our space, like sewer rats, I give a lot of credit to, just like Avagachi, because they're doing these things that they've Avagachi's been doing it for a year, and people are just starting to do it. Sewer rats has been doing this since the beginning of summer. No one else was releasing a governance token or a token that was a currency for rat holders, token holders. The problem for me, and what scares me, and it might be a couple years from now, but these are fucking securities. If you're getting a token in return for owning a token, like you're getting a currency that you can resell, that's like a dividend. Even though, like people don't want to see that. Every airdrop that you get is a freaking dividend. Like that's what it is. It's a security. This is art and finance. We can't lie to ourselves and just say these are PFPs. But this is the future, and we're here early. So I feel like if we're all in it, and you're willing to have patience for more than a week or two during these Elliott wave like cycles, we're all gonna make it. That's the
Yeah,
point.
because like I remember when you told me about pudgy penguins, and it was so cheap. It was like 0.02 of an ETH,
I bought
and
a bundle of five
and this
for
was
4% of an ETH.
and this was when gas was really high. So like if you bought like a $40, NFT, you're actually paying like $100 in
Actually,
gas.
it wasn't that bad.
Or it was
when,
something high,
when I
but
bought my bundles, it was before you bought your one.
yeah.
So I
But I
bought
was
like
like, what am I getting into? This is trading pictures of cartoons. The price to buy a cartoon is $100 and the picture's worth 40. I was so freaked out about it, but this was the first project that I saw go from 0.02 to then I sold it at or I bought it at 0.01. I sold it at 0.1 thinking I was a genius making 10 times
10x.
my money.
Yeah.
And look at this, it's now at 2.68 Ethereum.
I had 11 of these things, right? I had 11 of them. I didn't do what you did. I bought a whole bunch. I minted 3 or 5 as just eggs, and I held them. They were at 5% of an ETH to mint, and the gas. I minted and held those 5, and I got some dope looking ones. I had a Biggie Small looking one. I had like a top 1,000 one. And then I bought another 6 because they tanked. They went to 1%. And I've seen this story happen over and over again. And they have a vibe to them. It's like a little bit of a cool cat thing. So I managed to buy, I had 11 of them. And then I watched it jump from the 1% where I was buying at to 18, 19%. So I thought I was the smartest man in the world. I sold 6 of them, and I was like, yeah, we balling. Like we just turned like 6% of an ETH into 1.2 ETH, like almost 1.1 minus, fees. And then it just kept going up. So then I sold another one at 1.65 ETH, another one at like in the 40% of an ETH, and the last one I sold was at 3 ETH. And they continued up to 4.5, something like that. and then they fell back down. I watched them go almost all the way to 1, I believe, and I didn't buy them. I bought 4 cool cats. I flipped 2 of them. I held on to 2, and then I bought. I mean, I have like 500 NFTs at this point, so what I'm doing is taking the profits, flipping them into a collection. Cole Ethereum said to do that. Like, if it's okay to have paper hands on one project that gives you the liquidity to invest in 1 million of them, because all you need is one of them to 100x, and it pays for everything else.
And based on this top percent gainers list, I'm going to pull it up right now. I mean, a lot of these projects have gone from like basically nothing to something. Like you were saying that CryptoPunks a year ago was $195.
At the beginning of this year, CryptoPunks, the floor was $159.
That's
And
insane.
in 9 months, 10 months almost, we're at almost, I think, $300,000. What is it, the floor?
It's unreadable.
Oh, yeah. Well, it's probably because there are
They're
no
all
listings.
gone, yeah.
Yeah, like, and that's like,
And look at this. There's only 3K owners for 10K assets, but they're all gone.
Yeah.
So that means that there's at least 3 for each person.
yeah,
that
or
owns it.
there are whales. Like, there are
Or
people who
whales,
are
yeah.
venture capitalists. Like, there are people with the cool cats that own hundreds of cool cats.
Wow.
Right now, if
And
Joe,
Cool Cats is dropping milk, right? Which is a utility coin.
they're going to be giving you a dividend, essentially. I don't want to call it that because, like, but the SEC is going to figure it out eventually. Maybe not for another 2 or 3 years, but like, it's a dividend. It's going to be a coin that has value, similar to Volt, similar to Wicked for the Wicked Bone Ape Club, or I forget what the coin's called for Cyberkongs.
Cyberkongs, yeah.
Yeah. It's a utility token that, like, you can trade, like, Chiz on Sewer Rat Social Club.
And you know what else I saw? I saw Galactic Apes like a little while ago, and now they're up on the volume list. Like, are these at 1 already? There's no way. I saw this at 0.6.
1.1, yeah.
I saw this at 0.6, like, I want to say a couple hours ago. So now this is completely out of reach.
Yeah,
That's
so
insane.
the thing is, like, I'm very bullish on this space. I'm a flipper, but lately, like, I have 2 cool cats that I bought at 1 ETH and 1.29 ETH, like, maybe a month ago, and they're over 10 ETH. And part of me is
That's
like,
insane.
it's ridiculous.
That's
like, yeah,
insane.
I just turned $6,000 into $60,000.
Like, I've been
essentially.
a trader for 5 years studying and practicing, and I've never seen these kind of returns.
Yeah, it's because this is a small market cap and it's an emerging market if you think about it. So
Mm-hmm.
we're watching, this is like history in the making. How often do you get to watch a new asset class be created and then grow? Like, if you got into crypto, it was the same thing. You got to see something go from being worthless, essentially everybody's laughing at it, to being trillions of, like, serious money.
Right.
The fact that the SEC has to look at our space because they're worried about financial stability, that's bullshit, by the way, because the stock market is worth so much more than crypto.
And while we're on that topic,
Or
like,
bonds,
remember
like,
when the insider trading happened at OpenSea?
front running, I guess.
Or front running?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
That I mean, it sucks. That guy was cool. I don't want to excuse anything he did, but he was very nice. He responded to me very quickly on a couple things. He was a good customer service person, but he front run. There's no regulations
But there's
in this
no
space.
regulation, so
Yeah,
technically
but that's
he didn't
human
do anything
decency.
wrong.
Like,
Yeah.
it's a community, right? We don't want to fuck each other over. Like, it's the same way we treat people who rug, or people who FUD, or people who are fucking.
And what are these rug and FUD terms? Rug means the rug gets pulled out from under you, so your project
Yeah, like,
is worthless. But what's FUD?
FUD is fear, uncertainty, and doubt.
Oh,
So, like, people talk about China FUD. China has outlawed crypto like 10 times, but now it feels like it's the legit official. You cannot own it. It's illegal. No transactions, nothing.
and what are some other terms that are popular in the NFT space? Like, I just learned that WAGMI is from you. We're all gonna make it.
Yeah,
What
and
else
the
are there?
NGMI.
NGMI
Not gonna
is
make it.
Not gonna make it.
GM, that's a big thing on crypto.
GM. Is that good
Good
morning?
morning. Even though
Okay.
I've tried to advocate for good day, because who the fuck knows where you are in the world.
Right.
But no one's about that. It's morning everywhere, apparently. LFG, let's fucking go. But these are like basic stuff. We're pamping stuff. People are getting wrecked, but with a K, like,
Lazy Lines is another one that I saw several times at 0.7. Couldn't afford it, and it's now 2.53.
I love that project. Somebody, I think it was NFT Spicoli, one of the funniest motherfuckers on NFT Instagram or Twitter. He had said that he retweeted somebody that said that the Lazy Lions are like the Jehovah's Witnesses of the like.
What do you think
NFT.
that meant?
Like, they're just out there, join our club.
Oh, yeah.
Join us. We're ready. We're taking everybody. But that's the way to do it. Like, you said, what do I look for in a project? I look for FOMO, but FOMO is community. People who are like into it, everybody's
FOMO, fear of missing out.
yeah, people who want to jump in, but it's because it's a community. Like it's a if you think of Bored Ape Yacht Club, their roadmap 2, they're about to have a physical location in Miami. I'm going to sell something so I can get a Mutant Ape Yacht Club, so I can go down to Miami
Wow.
and be in the same club as Stephen Curry,
Right.
Stephen Curry, as like Des Bryant. That shit's like that's the power
It's
of what we're
crazy.
doing.
Yeah.
The
That's what
only-
makes it special. It's like if you just buy a stock, that doesn't give you an exclusive
Nothing.
club
You,
right.
you do though. If you have Berkshire Hathaway, you
Yeah.
get to go to their annual meeting. But this is different. But I will say that like I wish people like these projects are wonderful, but like I'm an advocate for Aavegotchi because it's on chain. I've told you about this.
What's the website that people can go to figure out?
Aavegotchi.com.
Okay, so
Yeah,
let's
or
pull
go
it
to
up.
my YouTube channel and you can learn all that stuff.
How do you spell it?
AAVE
AAVE
GOTCHI.com. Yeah.
Okay, let's check it out.
Yeah. So you need Polygon, which is that's the future. If you're an ETH maxi, I'm sorry for you because I don't think you need to get a layer 2 that works, and Polygon is it.
And your YouTube channel talks about all the basics of this stuff.
The
So
basics, but I
yeah.
cover everything. Like
Okay,
but
so,
the reason
so
I
people
like
can
this,
go to your
yeah,
to
you can
YouTube
learn
to figure this out. I want to keep this just NFTs for now.
yeah. So this is an NFT.
This is an NFT.
This is an NFT.
Aavegotchi is.
It's a double. It's a
But it's on Polygon.
yes.
Okay.
But we're working on bridging it back to Ethereum. It's just the gas cost to interact with it would make it unacceptable.
And
Like,
what's the basic concept of Aavegotchi?
so if I had to, it's a this is it says it right here. Each DeFi power Aavegotchi is provably rare and verifiably adorable. So the idea is that this Aavegotchi is a DeFi instrument. You put in Aave.
What is a DeFi instrument?
Decentralized finance. So think crypto banking. Like this is like in this Aavegotchi, it can hold coins that you get from Aave. So if you stake to Aave, you put up USD coin, you get a USD coin. That can be a collateral that sits inside of this thing. Those coins are interest bearing coins. So you don't like you can have them anywhere and they will grow because they're earning interest in the coin. So you put it in your Aavegotchi and now you can play video games and like participate in rarity farming. So it is DeFi, like a crypto bank that you can game with. It's a financial instrument that you're
This
gaming
whole
with.
thing about art and finance coming together is really, really cool.
Yeah, but this is different because every other project, the point I was making is this is on chain. That means that like, there's no Web 2 server that is serving up an image. If you go to Bored Ape Yacht Club, there was recently a raccoon squad. I forget what it was called.
Raccoon
Where
Squad.
I forget the exact name. It was
Raccoon Mafia?
no, it was a different.
Raccoon Secret Society?
It might have been that one. So like it might be all.
I haven't even seen
No,
this.
it might not have been this one.
No? Okay.
No.
Raccoon Squad.
It was raccoon something. What they did was they rugged their owners because they said like most of
not
these
able to find
projects
it.
are not on chain. They're like on Web 2. You own a token that's on the blockchain, but the image for the token is being served up by a Web 2 server, IPFS. So if that server ever goes down, your token no longer has the image. So if it's on the blockchain, then it's there. It's there forever. Like a lot of these projects aren't like that.
And what do you think makes a good project? Like, I've noticed that a lot of projects have these names like Bad Bunnies. Like, I think it's called, is it called alliterations or something? When it's like B, or AA, like there's Bad Bunnies, there's Boss Beauties, there's Crypto Chicks, there's, what's another one? Uninterested Unicorns. Like, what else besides an interesting double-lettered name do you need to have a cool project?
Do you mean cool or successful? Like,
Successful.
When we
By
say
cool,
successful,
I mean successful.
we're talking about a floor that pumps, right?
Yes.
So the thing is, I'll be honest, like utility works, a fervent community works, but if you have good influencers, that's really what works. Like, I'm not gonna lie. Like, if you get like digital art chick who I love, if she talks about a project, people buy it. Every time I see her talk about something, I buy it with the intention of a quick flip. There are stuff that I hold, but I understand that a person with that much sway, because this is such a small market, they can, like, whenever Beanie Maxi does anything, I will buy it because I know other people are going to look into it. There are a whole bunch of influencers who don't realize they have that power, or they do, and they're doing their thing, and so that matters almost more than anything else. Because I've seen quality projects like the Sewer Rat Social Club does not have big influencers, but they constantly out deliver everybody else. And like they're one of the first projects to have their own native coin that you can like. They have an NFT marketplace. They were one of the first projects to convince OpenSea to use their native coin as a currency. You can go to Uniswap and you could swap for ETH with Chiz.
Oops.
It's a beautiful thing.
Well, this has been very eye-opening and interesting, and I want to thank you for taking the time to allow me to interview you. So thank you so much, and I'm going to have where people can find you in the
I
description.
just want to say Gotcha Gang one more time for the Gotcha Gang.
Okay.
Check it out, avagachi.com, and my Music City Gotcha Gang on YouTube.
I'm going to have it all linked up. Thank you so much, No Futuristic. Bye, guys.